Hi, and welcome to Sweet Bee. This is our live stream show highlighting artists in and around our area. I'm Mike Bennett. We're here at Professor B Studios in downtown Winston-Salem. And I just want to kind of take a quick second at the beginning of the show, and for anyone who's watching or may watch this later, say welcome to what is effectively our first episode of our second year. On the last show a couple weeks ago, we celebrated our 1 year anniversary, and it was fun. It was a blast. I'd handed over the reins, and if you haven't seen that one, make sure you go back and check it out. There were also a couple of announcements at the end of it and some asks for a few things. So if you don't mind, go check that out and watch it in its entirety. It's, I dare say, worth it. Also, as we're kicking off kind of this episode one of, I mean, we haven't really done seasons, but I guess if we're year two, it's kind of season two. I'm really excited to say that for the first one, we have someone who I unintentionally ended up having some ties to all the way back into our college days. Not because necessarily we were there at the same time, but there's a really good chance that I saw him perform without knowing that years later we'd be sitting in the same room having a conversation. It was a little less than a year ago, I had the opportunity to host one of the stages for Neville's Quarter's Songwriters Bonanza. And just we had artists coming through, and I'm sitting just a couple of feet off the front of the stage as I'm announcing each artist and talking about each one and stuff. And this guy got on stage and started doing his thing, and it wasn't too long after he came off the stage that we had to have the conversation and made the invite, and here we are all these months later. So after a very lengthy introduction, if you will please help me welcome to the show Chet Nichols. Chet, thanks for being here, man.
Hey, Mike. Nice to be here.
So all the way from Eastern North Carolina.
2.5 hours.
Made the trek.
Sure
So I want to kind of start with a little bit of what I was just talking about. As we were talking before the show today, we were just kind of comparing notes on kind of mid to late 90s locations that we both frequented. What was it like doing music during that era in and around kind of that Greenville, Eastern North Carolina area? And were you doing a split of originals and covers then? Was it mostly covers, mostly originals? Kind of where were the, not necessarily your starts, but as far as I would be concerned when I would have seen you, what were you doing then?
That would have been the very beginning of starting to put some originals in the set list.
Okay.
I was pretty much doing the cover scene then. Deep covers and,
okay.
influences of mine, not necessarily what was popular at the
Gotcha.
time.
Okay, I see what you're
saying. It was kind of easy to mix a lot of, or start mixing originals in, because a lot of the covers I did people weren't familiar with too,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, okay. So were those, did those end up being conversation starters? Was that an opportunity to kind of educate the masses, or did you just kind of do them and it was just part of what you did as far as doing covers that people maybe weren't as familiar with?
No, it was intentionally.
Okay.
I just, I probably, like everybody else, I'd started out doing those covers that everybody does, and I can name some today that I'd just soon shoot myself in here and more or less play.
Sure. No, I'm sure.
But I just like going a little deeper on the record. If the hit song was whatever it was, Brown Eyed Girl or whatever, I'd go a little deeper in the record and to do the cover.
So you do some B-sides and that kind of stuff.
Someone would hear Jimmy Buffett, God forbid have to play Margaritaville.
Right.
So I would go deeper, man. Some back from some of the earlier records that they might not be familiar with.
I like it. Okay. Okay. So, I'm getting a good picture of it. So you were just starting to insert originals into what you were doing performance-wise, which means obviously you had been writing some before that. But when did you end up releasing your first album?
It was 2003, 2005.
Okay, and what was the first one like? What was that initial album experience? Was it
home studio?
Mm-hmm.
I guess it was a 4-track, but you could put like multiple tracks on each one and then dump them down like that.
Yep.
Some tracks we had 10, 12, instruments on it.
Okay, that was gonna be my next question. Was it a full band thing?
It was a full band, but it was predominantly acoustic.
Okay.
But it had bass, it had drums, it had percussion, it had a couple of acoustic guitars.
Yeah.
Vocals and little tambourine. Just little stuff stuck in here or there. The second one I did and that was called Somewhere Out There. The second one I did about 2 years later was done the same way, but upgraded a little better. It was done on 24 track.
Okay. So upgraded gear, but still kind of a home studio thing?
Yes.
Okay,
and,
gotcha.
That was done electric. That had electric guitars on
So
it.
in 2 years from you've cut your first album, and then you go in to do a second. By go in, I know
Right.
you like home studio, but you're entering into that process of doing the second one. From the first to the second, what lessons? I mean, what did you learn that carried over, or were you like nailed it the first time around? Let's just do that same thing with some new songs.
No, I was still learning.
So I mean, in a 2-year span, what did you pick up that's new? Because I want to talk about this next jump is kind of where I'm headed with it, just so
Right.
you kind of so you know. So in that, from the first to the second, how different was the second one, process-wise?
Really not much. I mean, it wasn't much different. I'm not a studio rat, man. I'm not real good on technology and all.
Sure.
I had to get people to help me with that end of it, and the worst part of that was concentrating on that part of it and not being and I guess my biggest criticism of it was it just sounded a little too automated, because we did everything track by track by track.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And was that one done like to a click? I'm assuming if you're
yes.
doing one at a time.
Yeah.
So and the first one was not.
No, the first one was done by click too, and
Oh,
it was done the same
okay.
way, track
So
by
it
track.
just didn't feel-
Yeah.
but it didn't feel that same way.
You lost that live feel, when,
Yeah.
or I did.
Okay.
You know,
No, I get that. I've heard
and,
I've heard that from a number of people, and that's
Yeah.
as technology moves and stuff.
If we're leading into that,
We are.
That's,
Yeah,
that's going to be the difference.
This is
there.
where I want to go. Okay,
Yes.
so you are in the process right now of what we were out in the waiting room earlier, and what I had no other name for it, so I kind of had to call it a CD release tour, because you're not just doing a CD release show. You are doing a series of
taking
shows.
that thing
where
to
you're
every town we
releasing
go
it-
to.
releasing it every chance you get. It's
Absolutely.
called Demolition Day, and this is the one that's out right now. You were kind enough
Yes.
to bring one in today, so thank you for that. But it was over a 10-year gap between the last album and the decision to make this one. What made you decide to jump back into the studio? Because this one also wasn't a home studio deal this time. I mean, you kind of came back with a bit of a difference.
Yeah, I had wanted to record all along, but I didn't want to go through that same process I'd done on the first two, and just dragging my feet on it.
Yeah.
Met a fella over in Rocky Mountain Mills over there, plays with a band out of Raleigh called Cosmic Superheroes.
Okay.
We got to talking after the show and said, "Yeah, man, I got a studio, man."
And this is the drummer?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's Bongo John's studio.
Yeah.
In Garner. It's a home studio, but
Well, you've named him,
I
now
w-
you have to say nice things about him. That's
oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute, cut.
we only drop names if we're going to say nice things. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, he's a great fellow, man. Really, really great. And so I only had intentions of going in and doing I said, okay, sure, man. I'll go and do a demo. I'll go and
So you didn't go into the studio
I
intending
did not
to
go
cut a
in
full
intending
album.
to cut a full album.
Wow.
I did not.
Okay.
I went in and just out of curiosity, just see. And I took my guitar player with me from my band, Michael Hart. We went in, we laid down about 20 songs, one take, and did them live.
Wow.
I didn't have to worry about any buttons. I didn't have to worry about what anything sounded like.
Just
All
go
I had to
play.
do was play, and we listened to it back. I was like, man, we need to talk. We need to start.
And that was just after just laying down the first kind
That
of
was
a
just-
few
yeah.
demos.
Yeah. So I got the idea to actually do a full-length CD, and we talked about this earlier. I had so much material in that 10, 12-year span.
Yeah, that
or
was I
whatever
was
it
going to ask about that, because in that
Yeah.
size of a gap, how hard
Yeah.
was it? Because I know you're a writer, and I know that just from previous conversations. I know you're a writer. I know so I know you didn't write 11 songs in those 10 years. How hard was it to make this the track list? Is it a narrative? Is it because of when they were written or how they were? I mean, how'd you land on these for the album with the size of library that you have?
Well, yeah, I could have done two things. I could have gone back and tried to do it in chronological order.
Yeah.
But we're looking
All
at
the way back to just after.
Yeah, you're looking at 10-year-old songs, and you know, I didn't really want to. I could have done a greatest hits. I could have pulled just the best.
Sure.
And by greatest, I didn't mean
No.
hits, but you know what I mean. I could have just
Don't
pulled.
do that.
You know,
can say greatest hits. It's okay.
I could have done that.
Yeah.
You know, but I decided to take. These are the last songs in the last.
So these are the most
recent written songs.
Okay.
Yes, and my plan is now to go back and do one.
Oh, that's
back,
cool.
Back from.
Yeah.
In chronological order, and then maybe another, but also you're writing new songs during that time too, so you don't want those to fall back another 5 or 6 years. So maybe kind of jump like that until we catch up. You know what I mean?
Juggle them together a little bit. So you've recorded in a home studio on a 4-track where you had to bounce stuff down and layer things in and that kind of stuff. Where once you bounced it, to go back and fix something, you had to go fix all 4 of those.
It's done.
Like everything that's done is done.
Right.
You've recorded on a 20+ channel, you know, more digital recorder where you're doing that process, and now you've recorded outside of the home in a studio with someone else handling all the technical stuff. So moving forward, because you're definitely not done, is it continue to find new ways and let each album be a different experience recording, or have you kind of found the process that you like? I don't want to say the place or the person or whatever, because I don't want to marry to anything. But like process wise, to be able to just come and play and hand that off, is that like this is how we're doing it from now on?
I think this is how we're doing it from now on, unless I run into a problem, because one of these records I would like to do full band. And this is predominantly acoustic.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, there's one. Just the last track on here's full band. Why just the one?
We went into. Well, been talking about doing a video.
Okay.
And
I know a guy.
That kind of no,
I'm sorry.
I met one today too.
Go ahead.
Well, rumors started swirling around, and got hooked up with somebody from the college over there in Wilson, Barton College.
Oh, yeah.
And they offered to
no kidding
produce this thing, and
man, that's awesome.
We ended up going into the music studio, Roma Hackney Music Building, and doing the recording full band, and then we went across the yard to the theater department and filmed a video of it.
That's crazy.
So I had that full band track there.
Yeah.
And I wanted to include that on there. So
that's fantastic. So is that last one kind of a taste of things to come? Because you talked about you're wanting to do a full band album. Is that?
It could be as far as full band like that.
Yeah.
As far as content, maybe not. That song. Look, man, of all the songs I read, and I try to present myself as a serious, real life, these type songs,
yeah.
And all this, and struggles and all this stuff. And that song is a silly little
song. Yeah, because we've got stuff like Love in Better Times and Lonely and Another Town and Hanging Tree and Go-Go Boots.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and that ends up one of my most popular songs. So go figure, man. It's like, but if that will lead people to the other stuff, that's fine.
No, I
fine
appreciate
with me,
that
man.
for sure.
If you can't laugh at yourself and have fun, man, there's no need.
It's fun to do. So a couple of questions as we're going to leave, because I want to make sure we take a break and get switched over. I definitely want people to hear you play. Number one, where can people find this?
Well, if you come to the show, man, you can get you a hard copy like that.
There you go.
I might even sign it.
I like it.
Apple, iTunes,
yep.
Amazon, all those places that sell online music.
Okay.
It's available everywhere now.
Perfect.
And that's the first one I've had that's been available like that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So to get a hard copy, to come to one of the shows, where do you have shows coming up?
Well, let's see.
Kind of give us the next, I don't know, next few shows in case people can get out to see you.
Okay, I will be. Well, most of them are going to be in the eastern part of the state, so
ain't
I
that
might have
far.
to travel a little bit. It's not that far. I did it tonight, knocked it out.
Go get some of that other barbecue.
There you go. That's right. All right. Now we might have to start driving. Now we're gonna get ugly.
No, I've lived in both places, and I like them both, man.
Yeah.
I don't go back to Eastern North Carolina without getting some barbecue. I like it.
Oh, absolutely. This Friday night I'll be in Wilson, my hometown, at the Downtown Public House. We're gonna call that a stop on the CD release party tour. Saturday night I will be at Tippett's Mill.
Okay.
Which is outside of Zebulon, which we're getting closer to Raleigh.
Yeah.
But then I turn around and go the other way to Greenville with our friends Neville's Quarter
Oh, nice.
at Christie's Euro Pub on the
that's
17th.
cool.
That's a Sunday.
That'll be a fun show.
And then I'm back in Rocky Mount at the Rocky Mountain Mills on the 22nd for another stop along the way
on
for
the tour. Yeah, and we could talk about the mills and stuff too. 'Cause, it's just, just visually, just everything they're doing out there is
Yes.
beautiful. But I don't want to keep this going. Where can they find you online? Are there socials, websites, anything like that? Where can we send people to get more info? Even if it's just show dates. Where can they keep up with you?
Facebook.
Facebook.
I have 2 pages. I have a band musician page, and I have a personal page, and
Okay.
both are strictly music.
Gotcha. And is the band page just under? Is it under Chet Nichols
It
as
is,
well?
it
Okay.
is.
All right. I wanted to say it out loud. I've already
It
got it
is.
bookmarked, but I want to make sure they know that.
It is.
Okay, cool. We are going to take a real quick break. Mark your calendars. Go buy the album. Support local music. But we're going to take a real quick break and be right back with a couple of songs from Chet Nichols. Yeah, thanks so much, dude.
Welcome back, everybody. Professor B Studios. My name's Chet Nichols. It's called Demolition Day. It's the title cut from my new record. It's back in 91. There she sat, buddy, just a gleaming in the sun. Some signatures, some paperwork, and then the deal was done. Blew down that highway, swore we'd never look back. That moment was our future, all our worries in the past. Never thinking about demolition day, when everything is busted. Pieces thrown and scattered, and all the working parts are rusted. Like it never even mattered, but you're gonna miss it someday. There ain't nothing left to say. It's just out there waiting to get blown away come demolition day. So we kept rolling on, right past every sunset, every break of dawn. On and on, just like that highway song. Hey, come on, baby, tell me what can go wrong. 2 young explorers of the wild unknown, 1,000,000 miles away from demolition day, and everything is busted. Pieces thrown and scattered, and all the working parts are rusted. Like it never even mattered, but you're gonna miss it someday. There ain't nothing left to say. It's just out there waiting to get blown away come demolition day. The years just flew away with every single mile. We watched the time stand still. Hey, ain't it funny when we all look back on it now? And all we needed was to grease the wheels. They just locked up. Guess love and gasoline wasn't enough. We take for granted what we love so much. Look up one night and to that deep blue sky. Let out your body and you close your eyes. Then you wake up and you find it's demolition day and everything is busted. Pieces thrown and scattered, and all the working parts are rusted, like it never even mattered. But you're gonna miss it someday, when there ain't nothing left to say. It's just out there waiting to get blown away. Come demolition day, everything is busted, pieces thrown and scattered, and all those working parts are rusted, just like it never even mattered. You're gonna miss it someday, when there ain't nothing left to say. Now you're out there waiting to get blown away. Come demolition day, come demolition day, come demolition day, come demolition day. Thanks. Let's switch over here real quick, and we're going to do another one from the record. This one's going to be called New Attitude. Sometimes that's just what you need. Can't use two picks, can you? There you go. But I got a new attitude. And I left behind my blues, and I got my shiny skull ring leather jacket, my new pair of shoes, and I got a new suit of clothes, and I got a pretty red rose, and I got a chip on my shoulder, carry that thing wherever I go. Some may break, some may bend, but I've been drugged through it all, and I come back again. And I pull through, and I got a new attitude. So I got a shot in the dark, rejuvenated heart. I got a life I wanna live, and one I just been dying to start. So I got that monkey off my back, I left him down on the track. I made it through with that old friend, now I ain't ever going back. Some may break, some may bend. This time I'm looking for somebody, a lover or a friend. And just one little spark. I got a shot in the dark, Now I got an ace up my sleeve, and I'm on a winning streak. 7 come 11 lady lucks riding with me. 'Cause I got a new attitude, and I left behind my blues, and I got my shiny skull ring leather jacket, my new pair of shoes. And one night with you, yeah, one night with you, baby, just one night with you. And I got a new attitude, I got a new attitude, oh, I got a new attitude, I got a new attitude. Thanks.
Man, Chet, thanks so much for being on the show, dude.
Thanks for having me.
Really enjoyed that. One more time, you let them know the shows you got coming up. I just want to, we got a chance to mark a calendar.
I'll
So-
be in Wilson the 8th, Tippett's Mill the 9th, Greenville the 17th, Rocky Mount the 22nd.
Fantastic. And Demolition Day is available now.
Absolutely.
Hard copy live at shows, also digital on iTunes, Amazon,
Apple.
wherever they go buy the music. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will be back in 2 weeks with my good friend Brett Thompson. We'll see you guys then. Have a good night.